Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fintegration Society. My name is Dale, and I am an immigrant. This is episode 17, and I did have a guest scheduled for today. He was my Finn native. We were going to talk about some very sensitive issues, and he decided that first he said he didn't want to be on camera, and then he said he couldn't make it at all. And I understand his reluctance to appear on camera on the show. The reasons being that this is a sensitive subject. And with that in mind, I'm going to just go ahead and give everyone a trigger warning and just tell you right out that I'm going to express some opinions that may or may not be something you want to hear. So let's get started. The title of the episode today is Immigration to Finland, Problem or Solution? Well, the subject of immigration is becoming very topical right now. It's on everyone's mind. Different countries are responding to the declining birth rates and the issues with pension planning and so on. They're responding in different ways. Some of them are encouraging immigration, and others are discouraging it. Now, as I was researching this, again, I was going to work with a script on this episode because of the sensitivity, but at the end of the day, I decided the best way to do it would just be to speak from my heart. Now, a lot of countries are trying to run their governments like businesses, and they are modeling themselves on models that, in my opinion, are failing. For example, Finland right now is looking at the United States, and the wealthy people in Finland are saying, "Hey, why can't we be more like the United States? Why can't we get rid of employment contracts? Why can't we cut unemployment to €4 a day? Why can't we do this and do that and the other? Why don't we have co-pays and deductibles and premiums? And why don't we make our healthcare system as awesome as it is in the United States?" Does that sound ridiculous? If there's any, I think I might have four Finns who are watching this episode and listening. If you are, does that sound like what you want? You, the average Finn? Think about it. Really, for a moment, think about it. Do you want to work under conditions of what they call at-will employment, where you come into work and you're wearing a t-shirt like mine, for example, and the foreman or supervisor, she just doesn't like Stella's ice cream, and they gave her a too small of a scoop last time, and you just triggered her, and now you know what, you may as well just go home. I have a friend anyway I'm going to give your job to, so bye. Is that what you want, Finns? Is it? Because that's where you're headed. Be careful what you wish for. And with that said, again, the title of this episode was Finnish immigration to Finland. The facts are very simple. The facts are the birth rate is declining in Finland. You are not having enough children to support the population. The population is declining. If it were not for immigration, the population would be going down. The tax burden would be increasing, the burden on the pension system, the burden on the healthcare system, all of that is going down. Finns, we are not doing enough to encourage people to have families and raise them. Finnish families, Finnish citizens having Finnish children in Finland, it's not working. That's the reality, right? Think about it. Look around and see what's happening. The birth rate is declining. There is a solution. The solution is immigration. But just like my Finnish instructors always saying me, here's the rule to learn Finnish. And in this case, it goes this way, but. So, with that said, the answer to a declining birth rate is immigration. However, again, trigger warning, this is my opinion. You might not agree with me. If you don't agree with me, I'm not going to apologize. You have your opinion, I have mine. A country cannot just throw open its doors to anyone, right? Realistically. no matter what they call themselves, just because they're not making it in their own country. And again, my situation is very similar. The difference between me and being a refugee is that I am Finnish. My father was Finnish. My grandfather was Finnish. I am coming home. I am here now because I am Finnish. I am the kind of immigrant that Finland wants to encourage, Finland needs to encourage. Excuse me. But are they doing it? Are they really doing it? They're very tightly controlling immigration. That's true. They're doing a great job. The doors are shut, the walls are built, the fences are high. Oh, yes, we very tightly control the number of immigrants, with the exception of Ukrainians, of course, and that's a different situation. Ukrainians needed help, they needed a place to go, and Finland was there for them. And I think that's great. I appreciate that. I'm glad to be a part of that. I have a lot of Ukrainians that I go to school with, and I'm glad they're here. I welcome them. But everyone else, why are we throwing the doors open to anyone and anyone who says, you know what, there's a war at my country and I'm not happy and I want to come here? That's probably not the best solution. Now, with that said, back to the topic of good immigrants versus, shall we say, not so good immigrants. What are the characteristics of a good immigrant? What makes a good immigrant? That's the question. Well, in my opinion, a good immigrant is one who brings with them education, skills, and money. In my case, I have a university education paid for by another country. I have a 5 year university education from a top 10 public university in the United States, probably worth over $100,000 that Finland doesn't have to pay because I came here with that education already under my belt. I already have a pension. I already have a retirement pension. All I have to do is get old, and I have money that I will bring every month to Finland, and I will spend it here. And I will pay taxes with it, and I will consume services and products with money that's coming from outside the country. It's free. So, what does that make me? Again, in my opinion, it makes me a good quality immigrant. Also, I am Finnish, as I keep repeating. These are the kinds of immigrants that Finland should be proactively seeking out. Government people, if anyone knows someone connected to Migri or to Parliament or however they're doing it, are you guys listening? Are you hearing what I'm saying? What I'm saying is this: we should be proactively seeking out and recruiting quality immigrants from the United States and other countries, Finnish bloodline, people with Finnish ancestry. Let's bring them home. Let them come here with their skills, their experience, their education, their pensions, their savings, their money. Let them bring that all back home to Finland. Why not? Seriously. It makes sense. It makes good policy. It makes good fiscal sense. Why aren't we actively recruiting? Just like a company would do. We should literally be actively recruiting disgruntled people from the United States who just had their fill. They want to get out, they want someplace to go. Why isn't Finland making it easy for them to do that? Why? Why not? Why are we creating such a struggle for people who belong in Finland, for people who want to come to Finland? I had a great deal of difficulty. I struggled for over a year just just to get to a point where I felt welcome. And that shouldn't be. People here should have. I'm not saying they should have a special category. I'm not saying that they're better than others from different wars. But if you have Finnish ancestry and ties to the country and to the homeland, excuse me, and you want to come home here, there should be incentives to help you do that. Literally, we should be recruiting people. We should be putting ads in online and in sources in the United States. We should be advertising for people to come home. Good quality immigrants. We should. That should be happening. But it's not. In fact, the opposite. There's an attitude here that is profoundly xenophobic in a lot of ways. And again, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to be honest. That's how I roll. I don't know how else to be, quite frankly. There is an attitude of profound xenophobia here. But that's like going to see a movie with a blindfold on, realistically. You can hear what's going on, but you will never get the full experience of it because you don't know. You can't see. If we know we have a demographic problem, if we know we have a declining birth rate, if we know we have a pension bomb, in effect, coming at us within a generation, we won't be able to pay the pensioners. If we know that these are facts, stay with me now, Finns. These are facts. This is hard reality. We can accept it and deal with it and solve it, or we can keep the blindfold on and keep telling everyone what a great movie we're watching. Really? No. With that said, my daughter had a great idea the other day. She was asking why Finland isn't doing more to incentivize the natural birth rate. Why children here, I guess China has a program now, I think, where they're actually trying to incentivize people having kids because they did the opposite for so many years. They're now having a demographic problem. China. Yes, China is worried about a declining population. Can you believe it? If they're worried about how they're going to solve their problem with population growth, well, Finland should worry about that too. My daughter's idea was that Finns who have a third child, because the third child is the key. 2 kids isn't enough. 2 children is not enough to replace the population, to grow the population. It's not. The third child is the key. So why aren't there programs that financially incentivize Finnish citizens to have a third child? There aren't those. There should be. We should be financially incentivizing through taxes, through programs, whatever you want to call it, Finnish people to go out and do what comes naturally and have that third child. And I don't know, I don't care what you call it, but there should be a program, there should be an institution of products and services in the society that are specifically tailored to incentivizing people to get that third child, because that will help. That will help with the demographic issue that we're having. On the other hand, realistically, as I said, we'll have to address the remaining shortfall through immigration. Those are the facts. It's unavoidable. It's inescapable. Get that through your heads, Finns. Understand that we must have immigration to solve the demographic issue. It is a must. Now, where and how will we do that? That's the question. In my opinion, there is an untapped pool of Finnish ancestry people from the United States, young, ambitious, educated, skilled people looking for a place to call home, looking for a place to grow a family, looking for a place to make a better life for themselves, just like I did. I'm still trying to figure out where I should be looking right now. Again, I was expecting a guest, and I'm sorry to disappoint you folks about that. I am working on it, and we will get a native Finn back in the studio as soon as I can. I'm also looking for some immigrants to get their feedback on this as well. But again, good quality immigrants, there are thousands of them. Tens of thousands of people like me half Finnish people, 100% Finnish people, if they will. There's probably several of them. If they knew that they could live a better life here in Finland, they could have family, they could have a work life balance, they could have universal health care. If they knew what Finland had to offer them, they would be all over it. We would have more applications for quality immigrants than we could deal with, than we needed. But again, we it seems to me that Finnish bureaucracy, Finnish leadership, I use the word lightly, is not proactively addressing what would be, to me, what seems to be an easy solution to this issue. Bring those people here, help them integrate, fix the issues with the integration program, help them settle, find them homes, get them jobs that suit their skills, education, ambition, energy, and experience. Is there a shortage of janitors and bathroom cleaners in Finland? I don't understand that. Why are people who have college degrees and years, decades even of work experience in multiple fields, such as myself, why is the only work that's being offered to us janitors and busboys at restaurants? Why? That doesn't even make any sense. On the one hand, we're gonna have immigrants that have degrees and skills, and we're putting them into the most menial kind of occupations, and then we're complaining about how much they're costing us in services. Oh, they don't contribute to the pension plan. Oh, they don't make enough money. They don't pay any taxes. They're a burden. They're a burden on society, on Finnish society. Oh, that's why we don't like immigrants. All they do is take, take, take. Really? I'm sorry I keep looking back and forth like this. I'll get better at it. I promise. Now, here's the deal. I said in a previous episode, if I have to pay 50,000 euros a year in taxes, I will celebrate that because it means that I am doing well and I am making it here in Finland. But the way things are going now, with our burying our heads in the sand like ostriches and not proacting the demographic implosion that we are approaching, it's not going to work. We're not going to make it. Becoming more like the United States is not going to solve the issue. It's not going to fix the problem that we have. Becoming a consumption based society that has nothing to offer its citizens but a declining standard of living. And every year you work harder and you make less and you get less in services and benefits. Why? Let's make a change. Let's get in front of the ball and take it where it needs to go. Let's get people over here. Let's get quality immigrants, Finnish American immigrants over here and into jobs before they get off the plane. Get them into integration training and language training immediately. As I said, it took me over a year to get into the integration program, to seriously begin learning the language through the state-sponsored program. Why? Why? It makes no sense. We're smart. Finns are smart people. Let's act like it. Let's get those immigrants over here. Let's recruit the ones we need. Do we need teachers? Do we need doctors? Do we need nurses? Do we need engineers? Do we need construction workers? What do we need? Let's make a list. Write it down. And let's proactively recruit those people. We can email millions of people for free. Let's bring them over here, welcome them when they get off the plane, take them to their apartment that we've already lined up for them, get them into integration training within a month, get them working if they have language skills already, get them into a suitable position, a high-paying position suitable to their skills and experience, and get them paying taxes as soon as possible. And they won't be a burden on society. They will be a net positive for Finland. But again, these are just some of my ideas. They're not the greatest ideas in the world, perhaps, and I haven't really thought this through. As I said, I didn't script this episode intentionally. First of all, because I was expecting to have a guest this week. I was expecting to have a native here to kind of bounce things off and see what they said, but I already know what he was going to say, essentially. He was going to say the same thing as me. He was going to say, yeah, there's good immigrants and there's bad immigrants. And what's a bad immigrant? Bad immigrant, or I should say a low value immigrant. A low value immigrant is one who comes to Finland with no skills, no work experience, no money, and they're hand out. Hey, taxpayers, help me out. No, no. Those are low value immigrants. We can do without them. Sure, we should offer asylum and refugee status to some or whatever. That's just being a good world citizen. But reality says we need citizens that are going to be net positives, realistically. And we can make it happen. We have the power. We have plenty of smart minds here. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we recruiting the people we need and helping them become net positive taxpayers in the shortest possible period of time? Why are we pretending like you can come to a country where you don't speak the language and just make it on your own? It's hard with no help. It's really hard. And most of the agencies here aren't, there's no such thing as press one for English. Why not? The national language, there's two national, I just learned this in my language school. Of course, I already knew it, but there's two national languages in Finland: Swedish and Finnish. Wow, interesting. But only 5% of the people in Finland speak Swedish. But 40%, excuse me, 40%, take three, 40% of Finns speak English. And 100% of people from the US of Finnish ancestry speak English. But all of the government programs and services, Migri and the banks and Kela and everybody else, they want to pretend like people speak Swedish. Why? Why do I have to translate every single government web page piece by piece, paragraph by paragraph? We can't get English, but they're Swedish. Why? Are Swedes breaking down the doors to get into Finland? I don't think so. We've got to do better, Finns. We've got to do better. We have to be more welcoming to people who speak English, quality, high value immigrants. They're not going to come from third world countries. And they're not going to want to speak Swedish either. They're not. So let's do better, Finland. Let's get our act together. Let's recruit the high quality immigrants who bring assets and skills and experience, and let's help them. Let's stop pretending like we don't need them, because we do. Let's stop pretending like we don't want them, because we do. Let's act like it. Let's make it a friendly, welcoming environment for English speakers to make it and succeed as quickly as possible. to start paying taxes and contributing to a better Finland. We can do it. I'll help. If I'm just some Joe Blow out of nowhere who comes to Finland and says I have answers, where are the Finns who have been saying the same thing as me? I'm sure there's at least a few of you out there who've been saying, wait a second, how come we stubbornly insist on keeping all of our service oriented government agencies and web pages? We insist on deliberately keeping English out of there. Why? It makes no sense. It's not helping. Let's get a program set up. Let's accept the fact that English is used by 40%. I think it's higher than that. 40% of Finns speak English. Probably more, as I said. Yet English isn't the national language here in Finland. Swedish is, but English is not. Excuse me. I feel like I'm ranting here, but I'm trying to make a point. I want to make Finland better. I've said that over and over and over again. Let me face this cup properly. I actually stole my daughter's coffee cup. Don't tell her. Ah, isn't that pretty? Anyway, Santa, if you want to sponsor my show, you are welcome. I am accepting sponsors, of course. But serious. Got the arm floating in the air here next to my guest. That doesn't look very good, does it? But anyway, as I said, the solutions are simple. Finland is filled with smart people. We know we need immigrants. The only question is, where are we going to get them from? We need them. Do we want them? Yes and no. That's the answer. Yes and no. I was talking to some Finns today about this very issue, and they say the same thing. Excuse me. They saying the same thing. Do we need them? They say that yes, they admit that we need them, but there's a part of the Finnish nature that doesn't want immigrants of any kind. People don't even want immigrants like me. And I am of course, in my opinion, I'm a high value immigrant. As I said, I already have a pension. I already have an old age pension. If I fell down some stairs tomorrow and became disabled, I would have a disability pension from the United States. They have lost me. The United States has lost me as a resource. All the money they spent to educate me, all the money I paid into their pension plan, they've lost it. They're going to pay it to Finland. I'm going to spend my retirement money and my education. I'm going to use my life to make Finland better. Not the United States, Finland. And is it my fault? Is it? No. Again, you can't blame little people. You can't blame fourth class passengers for running the ship into an iceberg. Can you? Realistically? Does that make sense? Yet that's what's happening. And it's happening in Finland now. We are letting the wealthy have their way. We are letting them set policies that affect all Finns, rich and poor. Because a certain few are looking at the United States specifically and are saying, hey, this 200 kilo man sitting on his couch eating pizza should be our coach, our running coach. We're going to become better runners and athletes by emulating this man. No. I'm not going to make Finland better by imitating something that is worse. At will employment is a disaster for the working person. It is. Healthcare that isn't universal, healthcare that excludes certain conditions, healthcare that is unaffordable to working people is not the solution. And if you think it is, then you're probably one of the very few people who is, very wealthy. And you're sitting here and you're thinking the same thing as the wealthy in the United States, who, by the way, own the government. They own the politicians. They pick up their phone and they say, hey, I need a tax break. I'm tired of paying money for these people who are sick. They should make their own way in life. Uh, I don't want to pay 35% tax. I want to pay 12%. And their little puppets and call girls dance on their strings and say, yes, master. What is thy bidding, my master? Like he was the emperor, like it was Darth Vader. Is that the kind of country that you, the everyday average Finn, wants? Really? Do you want to see people living in boxes and under bridges? Filthy, drug addicted people? Is that a better Finland? Is that what we're trying to get to? Is that the goal? No, it's not. It literally it boggles my mind that people would look at, again, this is all the wealthy. This is all the rich people saying, well, shoot, I have mine and I have so much, but I would trade it all for just a little bit more. Why? No. If you want clean air and you want clean water and you want safe streets and you want police that do their jobs and protect and serve, that costs money. You have to pay your taxes. You know, again, I'm going to go a little bit off topic here because this affects me. Specifically affects me and other people, low wage earners and so on. But I found out the other day, I've been kind of following along here, and I discovered that they want to change. They're changing. They've already done this, by the way. They've already done this here. And you used to be able to make 300 euros a month while collecting unemployment or sick pay or whatever else. You used to be able to earn 300 euros a month and a part-time job or whatever without losing any of your unemployment benefit, which seems fair enough. But they've already, I guess the right-wing government that's in charge now, or whoever was in charge recently, they've already pushed through some legislation. Most Finns may not be aware of this, but as of, I believe it's March of 2024, that rule, that regulation is changing so that anything you make, euro one, if you make euro one from earnings from work, they subtract, is it half? No, I think it's half. Yeah. It's 50%. 50% of the first euro you make comes off of the unemployment benefit. Hooray. Fantastic. But what's the point? To use numbers here, under the old system, a person could make 300 euros and not lose any benefit. And anything over 300 euros, they would lose, or I should say lose, they would receive a less of a benefit of 50% of the amount over 300 euros. So if, for example, a worker earned 400 euros, they would receive a reduction in their unemployment benefit of 50 euros because half of the amount over 300 euros to the 400 euros would come out of their benefit. Not a lot, but something. I actually read this on the Kela website, and it literally stated that it's as of March, every euro you earn is going to reduce your unemployment benefit by 50 cents. So, for example, if you made 400 euros, you would lose 200 in benefit, but you're still going to be better off because you'll have 200 euros more than you would have had from not working. Really? Really? Think about that. Now, this is at the same time when many Finns that I talk to complain that people don't want to work. Complain that people want to sit at home and just live off the basic minimum benefit, collecting taxes off of working people. Really? Is that what you think? Well, no, I don't think so. People want to work. People want to be productive. But again, it's a counterproductive policy because now, excuse me, in my example, if you made 400 euros, you lost 200 euros of your unemployment benefit off the top. That leaves you with 200 euros. Now you had to pay taxes, as you should, off of that 400 euros to start with. So let's just say that's another, I don't know, 60 euros. So let's just say you're making 12 euros an hour and you had to work 35 hours in that month to get 400 euros. Again, these are approximate numbers. And how much did you actually make? 400 euros minus 60 in taxes is 340, minus 200 off of your benefit. What does that leave? 140 euros net positive. You're 140 euros better off because you went to work for a week, 35 hours. You worked 35 hours for 140 euros. What's that come out to? Anybody? 4 euros an hour. I think it's approximately 4 euros an hour. And some change, maybe. Now, who among you is going to jump up and run out and do that? Who's going to want to do that? If the idea is to encourage people who are on an unemployment benefit to get off it and go to work and get some skills and get some training and get a reference and be productive, we should be encouraging them to go into the workforce. Not discouraging them, encouraging them. And the way you do that is with money. We should be giving people on unemployment a bonus for going to work and earning money and paying taxes. They should get a benefit for doing it. They should not be losing any part of their unemployment benefit until they get sustainable employment. But you're letting your leaders go the other way. I guarantee you. I'm going to look this up because I understand you can do that here in Finland. Next year, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to bring a number to the table. I'm going to say, this is what people on unemployment were making in terms of work before the new policy. And this is what people are making now. This is how much money is being saved in unemployment benefit. And you know what? I will wager you right now, beer of your choice, it's going to be a negative. It's going to be a loss. It's going to cost taxpayers more, not less. It's a stupid policy. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't care who approved it. and said it was a great idea. And how many of you sat around a table and nodded your heads thinking, oh, yes, this is going to encourage unemployed Finns to go to work because we're going to take a week's unemployment benefit from them because they went to work. It's nonsense. It makes no sense. But the topic was immigration. Finland's problem or Finland's solution? Well, I think Finns are smart people. I think we can do better. The question is, do we want to? Are we willing to make the hard choices and use our minds and our intellects to make policies and programs that actually work in real life? Like this unemployment example I just gave you. Oh, yeah, on paper it looks great. It looks fantastic. Look at all this money the taxpayers are going to save because we're going to reduce all these people collecting all these freeloaders. We're going to reduce their unemployment benefit by a whole week if they go to work. Ha ha ha! We're so smart. Are you? As I said, the program will fail. It will achieve exactly the opposite effect. It will discourage people on unemployment from going back into the workforce because there's no point. All of the Finns who are hearing this, raise your hand if you will go out in the workforce, get up every day and go out in the snow and ride a bus halfway across town for €4 an hour. Go ahead, raise your hand. Sign up. Do it. Oh, you don't want to? Why not? €4 isn't enough? Oh, it's not. No, it's not. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, just like not having services and programs with English instructions. Again, there are Swedish. Someone went and put all this stuff in Swedish. Everything on Kella is in Swedish, but only 5% of Swedes speak Swedish. And of those, what percentage are down there at the Migri offices and at the Kella offices trying to get services and benefits? It's minuscule. It's nonsense. What percentage of immigrants and unemployed people speak English? Is it more than 5%? Is it? Yeah, it is. Doesn't take much to point out where we can do better. That's what I'm doing here today. I'm making a point that Finland can change, can evolve, can grow, and become better. A better example of what a good country looks like. Or we can look at the 400-kilo man or the 200-kilo man sitting on his couch eating pizza and say, this is what we want to become. We want to transfer more of our wealth and resources to the wealthy because they don't have enough yet. Because there's too many lazy people. And if we take away the scraps that they have, they will be less lazy. Really? Think about it. Do you want your streets lined with homeless people? Drug addicts? Do you want a society that looks like the United States? Have you been there lately? A lot of Finns are delusional. They're delusional about the United States. They only know what they see on TV. They see streets lined with gold. And they hear the stories, the success stories of the wealthy. Go online and look up a place called Skid Row. Skid Row in Los Angeles. I was born in Long Beach in Los Angeles, in the Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles area, they call it. When I was a child, there were zero homeless people living on the streets. Not one. If you saw a tent on the streets, it would have been unusual. Today, there are tens of thousands of people living in tents. And not only that, the government thinks it's not a problem. The people think it's not a problem. It's a sickness. Do you want Finland to be terminally ill like the United States? Really? Or do you want Finland to be an example to the rest of the world of what a good country looks like? Excuse me. Think about it. It's your choice. You can let a few wealthy people who, believe me, can take care of themselves and have enough. Do you want to let them run a country for millions of people? Most of whom are just working class people who want to live a simple life, pay their taxes, go on vacation, raise their kids, breathe clean air, have safe streets, good schools. These are simple things. It's not too much to ask. But you've got to get in front of it. Immigration is a reality. It's a fact. It is a necessary need for Finland. We will have to have them. They will have to come from somewhere. Don't just want warm bodies. Don't just want numbers. Want high quality, high value immigrants. And in my opinion, there are no better immigrants than Finnish Americans like me, with ancestors and bloodlines and families from Finland. These are the top category of immigrants that we should be actively seeking them out. We should be recruiting them and making it easy for them to thrive and succeed here in Finland. English websites, government services available in English that will not destroy the Finnish culture, not destroy Swedish again. Has Swedish destroyed the culture? Has it? It's a national language. Are we overrun with Swedes? No, are all the signs and services now all in Swedish? Is that the threat that we're facing? No, it's nonsense. Nonsense. Let's act like grown-ups. Let's face our fears and be proactive. Yes, a government, a country has the right to choose exactly who they want and when they want them and how they're going to treat them once they're here. Right now, I can tell you, it's not very good. Finland doesn't make it easy because for the longest time, they felt like they didn't have to, I guess. Who cares? You're an immigrant. Eh, you will succeed or you will die. That's on you. Maybe that was a good policy 50 years ago. Is it a good policy today? Will it lead to a better, stronger Finland tomorrow? No. So let's be proactive. Let's do the right thing. Finland, Finns, we can. but not by burying our heads in the sand, not by letting the wealthy set policies that affect the lives of millions. Because we want to be like the United States. We want to give more money to the wealthy. No. We want to let the wealthy set policies that benefit only them. Why? Makes no sense. By the way, I welcome opposing viewpoints. I welcome guest speakers. I went to a lot of trouble to set my studio up for that purpose. I'm ready to entertain those who want to come on and tell me why I'm wrong. Bring it on. Sit next to me, come on my channel and tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Finland should be welcoming people with no skills and no education and no experience and no money into our culture and our country. On the other hand, tell me why we shouldn't be welcoming the opposite kind of immigrant with skills, education, experience, and money, and why we shouldn't be helping those people succeed and become net positive contributors to Finnish society. Isn't that what we want? Right? That's what we want. Why aren't we making it easy for them? Why? Why do I have to translate every single paragraph on government websites? Paragraph by paragraph, I have to translate into English so that I can understand and function. And I'm a reasonably intelligent person. But every single one of those websites has a drop-down menu and offers me Swedish. I would love to see a statistic from those government service sites that shows exactly how many people use the Swedish. They paid someone whatever it costs to go through and translate all the Finnish material into Swedish, but they won't do it for English. And the corporations and the businesses are the same. Why? What are you afraid of? English speakers are going to overrun the country? Going to corrupt the culture? Espanki refuses to offer English. They won't translate. Their attitude, when you go and visit them in person, I was literally told to my face, we don't have to provide information in English. This is a Finnish company. We provide service in Finnish. Okay. Far out. Right on. But how are you going to tell? How can I go to my American compatriots? How can I go and tell them, hey, you will be welcome here in Finland? You will have a good life here. You will be treated well by the people you meet and the government people that you interact with and the services that you need. They will make it easy for you and they will treat you well. How can I honestly tell these quality immigrants that we want to come here when I know that isn't true? How? Do you want me to lie to them? Well, I'm not a very good liar. I apologize, but it's just not a skill that I have. But I am a decently smart person with a good education. And I am very ambitious and I'm very hardworking. I got this survey in the mail the other day from some Finnish, again, it was in Finnish, asking me, an English-speaking immigrant, to answer their survey, and I translated every line, and I answered their survey, and it was asking me about my educational background. I want to know what kind of education and skills I brought to Finland. They couldn't ask me in English. But that makes sense, doesn't it? But I spent the time and did the survey for the common good. And at the end of the survey, they asked me if I had any notes to give them, if I had any comments to make. And I said a lot of the same things that I'm saying here today. Is there a shortage of janitors and trash collectors and postie people? Is there a shortage here that is such a severe, dire shortage that we need to put engineers and teachers and nurses and highly skilled and educated people into those positions because we just can't fill them any other way? That makes no sense, Finland. Does it? Let's put them into positions where they're making 60,000 euros a year and paying 40% of that in taxes. Why not? Would you rather support people? You're going to make them feel like they're not a part of the culture because they don't speak your language? Really? You treat them like that, like an infection? People like me who have Finnish, who have family here in Finland, bloodlines here. My grandfather's buried here. And I am made to feel like I am not welcome. I cannot even imagine how people from third world countries feel here in Finland sometimes, honestly. We got to do better. We have to. We can make a better Finland for all Finns, but not by burying our heads in the sand, not by pretending that Swedish has a function in government and society and culture in Finland. It does not. I would wager that the 5% of people here in Finland who speak Swedish also speak Finnish. I'll bet they do. They probably also speak some English. Makes sense, right? Let's do better, Finland. Let's solve the problems. Let's make the country better. We can do it. It's in our power. And I want to help. So come on the show. Let's talk about your ideas. And we'll do it. And I thank you very much for listening. Come on the show and we'll do it. I know I've been rambling today. I'm going to edit this down, but I want to help. I want to make things better. That's why I'm here. Let's do it. Let's make it easy. Let's solve the problems that we have. Come on, Finland. I want to thank everyone for watching my show tonight. And I do hope to say to some of you one of these days, Tervetuloa Suomeen. And that means welcome to Finland. But do we really mean it? If we're going to say it to people that we want in Finland, we want to say welcome. We want to say tervetuloa. We need to say it because we mean it. When we believe it and we feel it. Till then, just words. Words aren't enough. Words aren't going to solve problems. I'm going to actually have to do something, right? Anyway, I've rambled on long enough tonight. I thank you so much for staying with me tonight. I will edit this down, I promise. And I hope to see a guest. I'm still looking. If you're a Finn person and you're just outraged because of one of the things that I've said, or you work for the government or whatever your thing is, finnegrationsociety@gmail.com is the email address. You can comment on the post. You can message me privately. I'll get you on the show. You can appear off camera if you want. I will disguise your voice. I will keep you safe from ridicule. But I welcome intelligent people who have different opinions and different ideas. Come on the show. Let's make things better. And again, if you're considering immigrating to Finland and you're from the United States, don't let anything that I've said to you discourage you, because it can be done and you will be better off here. And all the things I've said in my previous videos are true. But I thought today I would lay a dose of reality and truth on us all. And I believe that I have done that. And with that said, I'm going to hope to see you guys next week. And thank you very much for watching my show.